Hello, dear friends. We're sincerely glad to welcome you again. And today we're going to talk to the esteemed Igor Mikhailovich Danilov.
Greetings.
Igor Mikhailovich, it's a great joy for me to receive feedback from our viewers that this period of time, despite all its difficulties, is one of the happiest periods in their lives, because the truth sounds loudly, because there becomes more light in the world, and because people get a chance to make a free choice. This is very important, especially in the context of what we talked about in the previous video, that now, in fact, is the time of choice when the decision is being made. Whether we as a society will be united by one tragedy, or we as a society will unite on what will give a future to this society and will be able to build the world that the prophets dreamed of. And of course, every reasonable person would very much like the creative scenario to be implemented, for us to live in a world where human life will be the dominant value, to live in a world where shadows will not dominate either in the society as a whole or in any individual. And I really wish we could build a world of truly happy people, because once again, we get convinced that if a person is happy, then he is definitely not a source of suffering for other people. And Igor Mikhailovich, unfortunately, so far, the surrealism of this world is such that we have to observe how some people, because of their own fears, because of the dominance of shadows in their consciousness, because of their vanity, because of their thirst for personal gain or for the sake of their own well-being, create obstacles and put spokes in the wheel of those people who are doing their best to ensure that this well-being is guaranteed in the creative society for absolutely everyone, so that we build a world where not only the well-being, but also the value of human life will be paramount.
This is a paradox. And really, friends, this is just funny. If we look sensibly at the situation that is happening now, it just doesn't make any sense. After all, indeed, today, volunteers of the creative society all over the world are talking about the real way out of the current situation. But there are people, those are separate individuals who oppose the creative society. And it is actually unclear to me how this can happen. After all, it is precisely these volunteers whom they slander, against whom they even initiate administrative cases and create many obstacles. Let's even take the fact that some people express their, let's say, indignation with the creative society, accusing it of being someone's project. Well, I think all this is happening, because people don't look deep into it and don't understand it. They don't look deep into the creative society project. They don't understand the current situation in the world today and live somehow according to a pattern. We get used to living a certain way. We make plans. Almost everyone makes some plans for the future somewhere in the depths of their subconscious, while some people, on the contrary, even do it quite consciously. We expect that we will build something or do something. I don't know, whatever each of us wants. Someone will buy a new car next year. Someone will do something else. And the question to those people is, guys, tell me, is it conceivable to make plans for the future now? On the one hand, it is normal. It is natural. We live like this. We are used to living like this. But let's look at it sensibly. After all, back in ancient times, a very long time ago, we were told that times would come when stones would fall from the sky. How did we perceive that? That ancient people saw meteorites falling or a volcanic eruption and stones were falling down. And all of this, now, we have become very clever. We are civilized. We are so developed. We understand perfectly well that stones can fall from the sky, only during meteorite collisions or something like that. Guys, I'll give you a simple example. Just recently, in Italy, there were hailstones falling 19 centimeters in size. That's what people see and show. Yes, in other countries, hailstones were smaller, 11 to 12 centimeters, but in quite large quantities. When hailstones, the size of a fist, fall down and just crush cars, roofs, houses, and everything else. While we plan our lives, we think all these are games. When, excuse me, volcanoes are very active, when earthquakes are already happening in such large numbers. And the most terrible thing, the most terrible thing is that our atmosphere becomes full of holes. Like, excuse me, a colander. When cosmic radiation, solar radiation, and so on are very actively penetrating through it. When there is a huge problem with our magnetic field. When the earth becomes alive under our feet. Yet we are making plans. We keep thinking about the future. It seems to us that everything will be as it used to be. Everything is already far from being as it was. Yes, we should make plans. We should think about the future. That's normal and natural. We are used to living this way. And a person should, let's say, hope that there will be tomorrow. But now, the times have come when the future depends on us. And many people do not understand how the creative society will stop climate change. While many behave even worse. When we are told, what will you do with the economy? For example, in these or those cases. And how will you solve certain issues? But I have a question. What do you mean by you will solve? Why you and why not we? After all, this is our common world. And this is what people do not understand, we, you. In fact, some people fail to understand that the creative society is not some organization that has been here from time immemorial, working for itself, like a political party aiming to get into power, or, I don't know, like a religious movement that wants to create a new religion, which some people try to accuse us of because they judge us according to themselves, according to their perception of the world, that we are striving for some kind of power and dominance. Before whom, my friends, and what for? When we know perfectly well that our world is hanging by a thread, when in reality, the climate Cerberus is here. And we know perfectly well that if we unite, we will still have time to make a lot of changes, and we will be able to really save our planet. We've been engaged in this for a very long time. We've been studying it from various angles. Excuse me, we understand what can and should be done, but we won't be able to do it ourselves. We will be able to do it all, to actually save our world only together, only by all of humanity. And the hardest and most difficult thing is to convey this to people, to those who are even unwilling to hear that the world is changing and that their life is no longer the same as it used to be, and it will only get worse in the future. I just want to say to such people, guys, look at what is going on around you. Look at how rapidly climate change is progressing. Look at what has actually happened. No need to examine long time periods and do a lot of math. A simple example. To avoid putting too much strain on yourselves, take climate change over the last 5 years. Look at the progression and continue it. You will see what will happen to the world in 5 years and where the world will be in 10 years. And will it exist at all? This is already becoming a serious question. If we do nothing today, the future, our future, not our great-great-grandchildren's or anyone else's whom we don't care about, as long as we are fine, and after us, let there be a deluge. No, friends, those times have passed. You and us are the chosen ones, and the luckiest ones in this world. We can say we have hit the jackpot. We were born in the end times. This is our world, and a lot depends on our choice. First of all, on the choice of who we are. Are we humans? Are we capable of unity and of normal human actions? Are we capable of building the world which we want to live in, and in general, of saving this world? Or are we incapable? In fact, we have been talking about the Cerberus for a very long time, and quite recently, even a year ago, we had to talk a lot about what climatic changes are happening, what progressions are going on. Recall, watch our forums. You will see that we talked a lot about the fact that, in reality, the climate Cerberus is already here. It is entirely changing our life, and it's going to get worse. And just a year ago, we were talking about it being here, whereas today, it's already speaking for itself. We are simply stating the facts. Every day, such things happen, that a little more time will pass, and we will have nothing left to say. That's when this understanding will finally reach everyone. But when that which we can no longer change happens, all of us will be powerless. All, I emphasize, each and everyone, including those who are trying to remain in power by any means. You know, that secret power which controls the whole world, like a spider, pulling the strings and making decisions in economics and religions and in everything else. Yes, now it seems unreal. It seems that we are all divided. Actually, no, friends. We are all united, and they play with us. If you look carefully, you will understand. However, they expect that this time, like the previous times, everything will somehow improve by itself. It won't. Look at the progression. After all, we will only enter the real climate change in this real cycle next year. But look at this year. Look at past years. This shouldn't have happened. This shouldn't have happened just because, excuse me, our planet was supposed to have immunity. It should have had it, but we killed it. And this is really so. If we had been heard rather than criticized at least 10 years ago, if people really had taken this more seriously, imagine what we could have already done. Would stones be falling on our heads? Would our homes be burning? Excuse me, would water be washing away our cities? No, friends, we would already have all this under control. Yet, we didn't find the strength to hear people, the same people like us. Instead, we found the strength to laugh, to criticize, and to support those who fought against Allatra. After all, the knowledge about climate change and many other things that we now have in the creative society were brought to the creative society by volunteers of Allatra. This is true. In fact, everyone knows very well that Allatra has never posed and doesn't pose any threats to anyone, and it cannot pose them because it is Allatra. Allatra means God's love. Excuse me, I'll use an allegory. It's a light in the darkness of this world, and having understood and accepted it, people could have changed a lot of things. And much of what is happening now, the bad and negative things, as well as things that we have yet to experience, whereas what awaits us ahead is the most terrifying that would not have happened. In any case, friends, no matter how hard we try, even if right now, miraculously we begin to be heard, if billions of people start supporting us, and we really manage, well, this year we won't make it, but a miracle happens. And next year, we will hold a referendum. Do you know how many people will suffer? And who are those people? Those people are us. So, indeed, if we had been heard back then, none of this would have happened. Now, there are some individuals who are trying, let's put it this way, to get rid of the creative society and Allatra. I'll say that it is easy to close Allatra. It is easy to close the creative society. There's nothing difficult about that. It's just a unification of people. It is easy to intimidate people. It is easy to fabricate various cases, to imprison some people, and the rest will scatter. You know, it's all very easily done. And it has been done more than once in this world. But I have a question for those who are trying to do this. Tell me, what are you going to do without the creative society, and especially without Allatra? In the coming years, will you be able to change what is coming? And you do know what is coming. A simple question. You won't be able to change that because you don't even know which side to approach it from. All you can do is create new kinds of weapons and manipulate our consciousness, right? Okay, Try brainwashing and telling stories to the Cerberus from every source of information. Maybe it will hear you. Or how? Or will you use nuclear weapons to stop volcanoes? Or wait, maybe you will attack earthquakes with missiles or, excuse me, with drones. Perhaps you will try to restore our atmosphere with another type of weapon. Because even today, as of today, the sun, which used to give and sustain life in this world, is already starting to take these lives. The sun has become our enemy. Think about that. Our ocean is dying because of us. We will not survive without the ocean, friends. It is the basis of life, along with many other things. You know, this misunderstanding by people, let's say, it certainly destabilizes certain participants and volunteers of the Creative Society, and they start having doubts. Will we make it, and should we do it? Some of them lose heart, and there is a lack of understanding why we continue, despite the fact that people do not understand us, despite the fact that people even tried to oppose the Creative Society. Some of our participants do not understand why we are trying to overcome such resistance. In this regard, there is an old and good parable. When there was a fire, and a man saw a snake burning in it, he pulled it out of the fire, but it bit him. He threw it away, and it fell back into the fire. He took a metal rod and started pulling it out again. And here his disciple said, "Father, I don't understand. You're saving a snake that bites you. Why?" And that teacher's answer is the essence of the Creative Society and the essence of each volunteer. This man said, "The nature of reptiles is to bite, but I should not change my nature to help." Therefore, understanding and knowing that many people simply do not want to hear us, some get scared, while some think we are exaggerating and just trying to frighten them. Others think that we are a project of some powerful people of this world and only want to increase their power or multiply their wealth without looking and studying inside the Creative Society itself who and what we are doing, and why we are doing it. Such people, they are actually the ones who are now inactive. And even worse, some oppose, try to slander, and laugh at us. If we find the strength within ourselves, and as all of humanity succeed in building the Creative Society in time, if we have time, and manage to stop this climate Cerberus, well, we know how to do this. I emphasize, we know how to do this, unlike others. And if we do this, we will enter a different world. That world where human life will be the most valuable, where everything will be directed not towards killing or enslaving people, as it is happening now, but everything, both science and, all our actions will be directed towards improving, preserving, and prolonging human life, towards making life more beautiful. And most importantly, there will be an electoral platform where every person, I emphasize everyone, will use their power to make decisions jointly. And those same people who are now against the Creative Society, on an equal basis with those same volunteers who, are suffering, against whom they initiate various legal cases, convict them, violating constitutions, and try to belittle and insult them in every possible way, will make decisions on a par with these persecutors and enjoy the same benefits as them. You know, it's like in the times of the best of men, the Prophet Muhammad, the well of Rumah, when even the one who bought it stood in line with other people to draw water from it. Similarly, nowadays, volunteers who strive to reach out to those who do not want to hear, to reach out to their conscience, humaneness, and the banal instinct of self-preservation, on a par with others, with those same people who do not even want to hear today about what is coming and about what can and should be done right now. We'll share all the benefits together with them. Tell me, is this bad? Is the creative society a bad thing? I don't even mention Allatra. Without Allatra, there will be no light here. There will be nothing here. Not because Allatra is so dear to us, but because Allatra is translated as the power of God, while the power of God is in love. And if there is no love here, if there is no love and mutual respect here in this world, we won't be able to create the creative society either, because the creative society should actually be based on mutual respect, on love for each other, on everything valuable and good that we have, on that which is present in each of us, on aspiration to live. This is extremely important. The banal, simple instinct of survival must dominate over our greed, over our, stupidity and short-sightedness. That's the point. But everything depends on us. People choose where we will go. If we don't go anywhere and wait for a miracle in this world, then the miracle will come. But this miracle is the Cerberus. It is that miracle which neither God nor the devil has sent. The Cerberus is the essence. The devil will not be able to oppose it, and God will not be able to remove it, because this is our choice. We are choosing whether humanity will exist or not, and everything depends on our conscience. Everything depends on our aspiration to live. Everything depends on whether we love other people, whether we love and respect our parents, whether our children are dear to us, and simply whether we want to live. And this answer is very important. Whether we want to live. And it's worth thinking about. So, my friends, everything is simple. If we do not lose heart, if we reach out to the deaf, then we will have tomorrow. No need to despair. No need to be angry. And even more so, no need to give up. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, friends. Peace and God's love be with you.